Our cupboards are bare. I mean, everything, we've got food for him, but we don't have food for us.
It's either food or pay bills. Food or pay bills, and that's what we're struggling with always.
It is like a bank, because you deposit when you can, and then you can make a withdrawal when you need to. And I think that people look at it from that perspective, it just kind of helps them understand the whole premise of doing this, and it is neighbors helping neighbors.
The mission of the Montana Food Bank Network is that we work to relieve hunger through food acquisition and distribution, education and advocacy.
Part of our job here at the network is to inform people of the real situation in our state and to suspend disbelief. There is a hunger problem in Montana, and it's extreme and it's growing.
Montana Food Bank Network is composed of different types of agencies: food pantries, soup kitchens, youth centers, low-income daycare centers, senior centers, anywhere where low-income people are being fed through a nonprofit organization.
We receive food in 3 different ways: that which is a strict donation, that which is subject to some modest expenses in terms of transportation costs, and the other is when we are interested in food to such a degree that we'll actually go out and pay for it. The aggregate of all of that food, based on a standard valuation, is about 11 to 12 times what we pay for it. So that's the basis for what we have in a lot of our direct mail campaign, which is that we can basically provide 8 meals for every donated dollar.
Montana Food Bank Network is Montana's connection to major food manufacturers across the entire nation.
We have gone to Texas. We are very often going to Seattle and Portland and California and Arizona to find the product that we need.
We have 2 semis that travel the state. We have 2 box trucks that are located here in Missoula that help us go and pick up food and deliver it locally. And then we also have our warehouse in Miles City, and we have a refrigerated box truck there as well.
We are very fortunate to have a cannery operation at the prison in Deer Lodge that allows us to take product that might otherwise go into the landfill and to give it an infinite shelf life and use that to get around to our agencies. Basically, the demand for food is just going up to the point where we don't have the capacity to match all of those needs. There's a gap between the amount of food that agencies request from us and the amount that we can actually deliver.
We see that in communities now where we're going in with our mobile pantry to add more food into that community, because as the stress of the economy builds, people get more concerned about how far their dollar is going to stretch. We have to be more sensitive to that stress and really look at ways that we can make sure that people have the food that they need. It is a real challenge for us to not only collect food from around the nation, but really to be able to get it distributed around our state. We have huge operational costs in order to do that. Right now, with the rise in emergency food need, our food distribution department is really overwhelmed.
It's unique for a food bank to cover this big of an area, a state that takes several hours to drive across. We're looking for truckload donations and multiple pallet donations, just because, as I said, with 189 agencies and the number of people that those agencies service as their clients, it just flies out the door. It's very surprising.
I guess I do this, and we do this because there's a need, and when you see the faces of the people, and you know, I'm gonna cry because it really gets to me to see people come in and little kids who say they're so hungry. And they said, one little girl said, "Mama, they have food in their refrigerator." Sorry.
The Montana Food Bank Network is such an indispensable resource for not only the Poverello Center, but a lot of local food banks, Helena, Missoula. We could not operate, we could not serve 200 and 250 people a day at our facility without the Montana Food Bank Network.
Without the Montana Food Bank Network being there to help the agencies, whether it be the rescue missions or the food banks or some other organization, if they aren't there to provide for us, we're out.
we have a public policy department whose entire focus is dealing with the systemic aspects of hunger.
In the Montana Food Bank Network, when we first started, we were really focused on the emergency food system. Then as we grew as an organization and as emergency food needs grew, we realized emergency food is not going to meet the need. We've got to be able to find ways to change policies. We need to feed people in the near term and look for long-term solutions to the hunger and food insecurity problems. So we now do that, and we do it very well.
The U.S. Census Bureau does studies every year, and repeatedly one thing becomes clear. Unless a family reaches 185% of the poverty level, they are poor. That means there isn't enough money for everything. Then we look at our own studies in Hungry in Montana, and we see the same pattern that other states have seen. People will use their disposable income on paying the rent, paying for the heating bills, the fuel, the transportation, childcare, medical bills, and whatever is left hopefully is going to take care of food.
If you're having trouble paying for food, then there's the food stamp program, there's the school meal program for kids, there's senior commodity programs. Those things are all very, very important, and those are all programs that we work on increasing access to.
There's a misconception that the people who use food banks for emergency services are unemployed people, people interested in the welfare lifestyle, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
We become like a barometer for how families are surviving. When they come for emergency food, there's nothing left.
You know, we're not going to see any improvement in the emergency food system until the economy improves. And right now, you know, we're on the downslide with the economy, so I see things getting a whole lot worse before they get better. We're going to have to make some serious improvements in a living wage for people, getting people to the place where they only have to work one job and they can be home for their families, so that we're not having to take care of the food needs for their children. They're able to do it themselves. But it's a long haul right now. I don't see, you know, I can't say that in 5 years we'll be in a place where we're back to being emergency food box programs. But I can say that as long as we need to be doing this, we will be doing it.